Welcome to the Hummingbird Assembly in our weekly gathering. Our intention in these weekly gatherings is to stimulate thought, create connection, and expand consciousness. We are an assembly of people who will find each other, who will teach each other to find the miracle of joyful living from life's circumstance to accomplish that which seems impossible. As we do each week, I'll begin with announcements. And those of you who come here on the regular are probably wondering what we did with our boxes. Well, behind you at the back of the room, we have a white box on the counter where we invite you to make a donation for the ongoing costs of a church. Yes, thank you, Vanna. And we offer our deep thanks for any money that you're able to contribute. We do suggest $5 per person, but more important to us certainly is your presence. So if the money is not something that you have at this time, please don't allow that to stop you from coming. We really just want your participation. And next to the white box is our green box. The green box, in my opinion, is the most important. It is the box where I invite you to make suggestions for what you would like to discuss. This is your assembly. I would like to talk about topics that mean something to you and something that you have questions about. So anytime that you have something that come up in your life, or you see a meme on Facebook, or somebody makes a comment to you and you're not sure how to respond to it, you are more than welcome to write it on the little pieces of paper that are inside that green box. Don't worry if you make a suggestion. It doesn't mean that you're going to moderate the discussion. I promise to continue doing that because I kind of like talking. Right? Never would have guessed. And as I ask every week, I will continue to ask for you to contribute your awakening stories. If you would like to share your experience of coming to a gathering like this, what brought you to this moment in your life, we would love to hear from you. You can send that to admin@hummingbirdAssembly.com. And the intention is to take all of the stories that we collect and produce an ebook to help people who are going through the awakening process themselves to feel not quite so alone. And so now that all of that is out of the way and you all have your mouths full of delicious food, how about we take a moment to begin with our opening intention? I'll give you a chance to swallow. May I come to understand that blessings are everywhere, that my attitude will affect outcomes, that challenges are often gifts in disguise. May I come to trust that most things can get better with time, that my instincts and gut feelings have value, and that a positive attitude makes things go smoother. May I come to see that I have many skills and talents I can use, that I have a positive influence on many people, and that there are those around me who wish me well. May I come to value that today is a blessing to be enjoyed, that each person is unique and important, and that each moment of my life has meaning. So today we will continue our discussion of universal laws. And we are up to number 11. This is one of my favorites. And if anybody has ever made a mala with Julie Lockhart Thompson, this will give some context to her explanation of why when the mala breaks, it means you're done with it. This is the universal law of conscious detachment. So I will read it all the way through and then see if there are any initial thoughts that we want to discuss. And then we'll break it apart line by line. Buddha's earthly teachings are best summarized with one of his statements. It is your resistance to what is that causes your suffering. And by suffering, he meant everything that doesn't work in your life. Relationship problems, loss of loved ones, loneliness, sickness, accidents, guilt, monetary hardship, unfulfilled desires, and so on. When you accept what is, you accept the unalterable realities of your life without resisting them. Some things are facts. They exist. And no matter how much you resist them, there is nothing you are going to be able to do about them. Change what you can, but have the wisdom to accept unalterable situations as they are without wasting mental or physical energy attempting to change what you cannot change. Out of acceptance comes involved detachment. the ability to enjoy all the positive aspects of life, but to allow the negative to flow through you without resistance and without affecting you.
So is that saying that, so resistance is sort of just like, yeah, no, but like you're suffering through, it's like, oh, this thing exists and it really sucks and there's nothing I can do about it, or like, or when you try changing it, is that there's still resistance, we're fighting against it?
Interesting. I think that acceptance comes without judgment. I think that to accept something, it's not, man, this sucks. It's more, this is what it is.
So like, it's the fight to change it. So like, for an example, like we'll say loneliness, because like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me to go out and be more social to combat the loneliness, is that resisting it, or is that trying to change it? I don't know.
I guess it would
like,
imagine.
You just accept it and like, well, it's just lonely, or I don't know.
In previous weeks, we've discussed the law of intention. So I think it would be important to understand what your intention is in going out. If your intention is, oh my God, I can't be like this anymore, then it's probably not acceptance. It's resistance.
Right. Oh, okay.
But if your intention is, oh yes, I am. Okay, I'm done with this now. Let's go and experience something else. That's a neutral intention, which to me would suggest acceptance.
Right. Well, I think you first realize that you're lonely. And then you reach a point where you decide to change that. That's the same, I guess, as your point of acceptance. You decide that you're no longer willing to be lonely and that it's within your power to change that. And so then you begin to think about how you want to, how you're willing, how you're able to change it.
So that goes back where you say like making the intent, proper intent for the
Yes.
situation. Okay.
I think it's the emotional detachment. When you have no emotions attached to your situation. It's like if somebody cuts you off with a car, you have no emotional attachment with that, and it's just an experience. But if you have an emotional attachment to it, it becomes a resistance or an issue.
And I think that's the part that we're talking about with conscious detachment, right? Because you can be detached and it not be a healthy thing. Right? Like
You can be detached and what?
and it not be a healthy thing.
Yes.
You can be completely removed and isolated from your experience in your life, and you are detached. You don't make any connections to people. You don't have any love. You don't have any passions. You don't have any attachments. But it's not conscious. It's not, I accept this is where I'm at, and I've chosen this. Yeah. Yeah.
What you're talking about is having a closed heart. That's different than. So my idea is to have a totally open heart and yet still remain emotionally detached from those experiences that most people exist or react to.
Can you say that again, Kaylee?
To have a totally open heart. So you're showing your love, you're connecting with people, you're doing all the things, and yet when an experience happens, you're not attached to it. So you're not reacting to it. Like you can experience the love and the joy and all that sort of stuff. If something happens, like somebody steals something or whatever, then you just sit there and say, I guess they needed it more than I did, and just let it go. So you're not attached to that emotional reaction to that experience. So when you're talking about detachment, then you're talking about a closed heart, in a sense, to me.
Well, in that one particular example, yes.
People are so disconnected.
Yes, because I was saying that was not conscious detachment, right?
What about like something really heavy? Like say a loved one is ill. How do you how can you emotionally detach from something that's a pretty upsetting human experience? You know, like the loss of a loved one or someone you love is ill.
It's a great question.
How you know, getting detached, you know, in traffic and like there's things that are,
Yeah.
you know, we all look at life, there's really challenging stuff and the stuff that's just annoying to us or we think it's inconvenient, whatever. Right. It's the really heavy stuff. How can you detach because you're reacting, say you love someone deeply and then they become ill you love them deeply. I wonder how you can achieve a detachment from, because are you detaching from the pain of that, trying to detach yourself from the pain of that, or like accepting what is, like this person is ill, this person may pass away. You know what I mean? I wonder how
I think this is where we see the invitation to make sure that you have no regrets, right? So if someone is sick and hasn't been given a very low chance of survival,
right,
to detach from, like to be consciously detached from it, first, it's rooted in the idea of oneness, that even when they die, they're still part of you. Right?
Yeah.
That you can still hear them, feel them, engage with them. It's just in a different way because their physical form is not present.
Right.
And then accepting that truth
Mm-hmm.
and allowing yourself to feel all of your human reactions of, I'm really going to miss them. Oh, I love you so much. I need you to know how much you've meant to me. I need to make peace with the pain you've brought to my life, or the pain that I brought to your life.
Right. Because I'm just wondering, what's the difference between detachment and maybe being in denial? Like, how can you tell when you're
That's a
detached
good
versus
question.
you're denying what's going on?
Well, I think somebody in denial would say they're not dying.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Whereas conscious detachment has the acceptance of, okay, this is happening.
What is.
Yes.
I think too, you get to a point, I'm going through this with a girlfriend right now, who's probably just got 3 weeks after with stage 4 cancer. I look at how my husband's reacting and how I'm reacting. He's devastated. And I tend to dwell more on the love that she and I shared in the past. I'm looking forward to her transition because she's going to be out of pain.
Right.
And she's going home. So it's a very different, I love her, and yes, it's terrible that she's passing, but we're looking at it from 2 totally different sides, and I just find it really interesting. We just can't get past the devastation of Veronica dying. So I'm not detached.
No.
I see it really differently, and I still love her. It just feels really different.
I just went through the same thing. Had a man pass away not too long ago. I went to a funeral. Of course, there's a lot of sobbing.
Yeah.
Sadness, and I made a choice to remember, like Barb said, all the love and good times, because that's all I had. I didn't know her for very long, so that's all I went with. And that's the way I was able to end this situation. I made a choice to look at the positive and the love that we shared. And really
Yeah.
As Michelle was saying, a lot of times when you, in those types of experiences, when you feel a lot of pain, it's because you have unresolved grief issues from either this lifetime or other lifetimes, or separation issues, abandonment issues, or whatever else comes into play. So it's looking at those things, and it's the universe's way of presenting an opportunity for you to acknowledge those feelings and work through them. But when you're in those situations, I think there's a difference. You want to be in compassion. And compassion is not an attachment. Compassion is a state of being where you're open, you're accepting, you're loving, you're giving, you're fully responsive to the situation that's coming, what's going, and those types of things.
So here's a good one.
Make sure you're talking really loud.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I start talking about it.
Okay.
I feel pain for
Right.
what does that mean? I'm not even connected with, I don't know this person, but I just felt the sadness. Because to lose somebody, I haven't lost many people. I've been very blessed to have people close to me, but I know people lose. Sorry, I'm just trying not to cry.
Yeah.
I feel the pain of people losing somebody. And how do I feel that? What do you call that?
So my suggestion, and I don't know, because obviously we've never had a deep discussion about this before, Jacqueline. But my suggestion is that when you have that automatic response to someone leaving, is that you have a deep fear of someone leaving. And that the love that you're feeling, you need to be, like that sorrow is an indication of fear. And fear is the opposite of love. So you have to love the feeling. You have to love you feeling vulnerable and exposed because someone you don't know is dying. You have to love that this is part of the human journey. To come into a body and to be here for however long it is, a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of decades. And to love the idea that we are all going to transist at some point. But my knee-jerk response to that, your question, is that you are afraid of death.
I'm sad for the loss, but then I'm saying that I just feel that someone. Fear? Sure, I don't want to lose people I love.
Yeah.
But just as she started talking about it with her husband, I'm like, oh my gosh, how could you not miss that person?
Right.
Because I
So
know
the
the
compassion-
compassion will be disconnected in life. But we're not, in here, we're not disconnected ever.
It's the law of
I lost
one.
my mom 5 years ago. I still connect with her on a regular basis. And that's been such an eye-opening experience for me. To know that, yes, you may transition to another plane, but you're not leaving here.
Yeah.
At all, ever.
It's the law of one.
So I enjoy every day, and I'd say enjoy, make the most out of your day. And I don't think about losing people, but when someone does lose somebody, or someone's sick, or pets, or anything like that, it's, you can't help but feel the pain in your heart, whether it's.
And then feel it, right?
That's-
Like feel it.
And miss it, and miss that presence.
Yeah, and acknowledge. Someone once said that grief is the experience of holding love for someone that you have nowhere to give it to them. Grief is love that has nowhere to go.
Because I came in here really happy.
You're going to leave really happy. You're going to leave really happy. Because remember, we're all consciously detached.
So, you know, you hear that story, it's like, I watch a movie that doesn't cry, like, it's very rare for people not to cry in a movie that's sad ending, or even a happy ending. Same.
It's a perspective.
It's a perspective.
It's the lens through which you are filtering the experience.
So you were gonna say something, I cut you off.
I was just gonna say it's interesting that this would.
Can you speak a little louder for us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
My older half sister passed away 2 days ago.
Oh.
And, it came as a shock, but also not so much because she's been in really bad health for the past 5 years. You know, I had an immediate reaction to it, but not to the point it wasn't dramatic. I feel like, you know, I've made a decision in the last 3 months or so to kind of start living life to the fullest and practicing acceptance, spiritual stuff. And, you know, I almost feel a little bit guilty that I don't feel more about it, like almost I'm kind of still a person in general. But I just kind of feel like it's supposed to happen. Like she's been suffering her entire life, and now she's going to suffer more.
Right.
It's kind of reinforced what I'm doing, that I'm living life. She was happy with what I was doing, and she was trying to do the same thing, but she wasn't able to bring herself to do that. But ultimately, I don't know. I think it was just meant to happen. It's probably the best, but at the same time, grief. I mean, I've always kind of struggled with grief and not really knowing how to deal with that or what the appropriate response is, like what society would expect.
Right.
You need to have a response, right? Like I feel like you should not. I don't know. Like should my enjoyment of things be put on hold for a bit? It's silly. It's silly. Like when I talk about it, like really, it's just carry on. Life goes on.
And the other thing about that is that society will expect you to be over it in a couple of days, right? They give you this window of time to feel this pain, to remember her, but then, okay, that's it now. Like we gave you your 4 days. Can you just move on now, please?
Yeah.
And the truth is that you will have moments where suddenly you'll be like, oh yeah, she's not going to be here. And then you'll have all this expression and then, oh, I'm so glad you're well now in the place that you're in. And then you'll move on. And it will take you, you'll be years like that potentially. Grief has that thing, right? You remember that person, they're not with you. Oh, there's that moment of pain. And then you move on from it. And society doesn't embrace that idea. Right? You get, here's your time. We give you this allotted window. Now move on, please. We don't know how to deal with you in this space.
And life doesn't stop.
Life does
It's
not
interesting. I
stop.
remember when my mom died, I was with both my mom and dad and my sister when they passed. And I remember when my mom died, I got up from the hospital and from the room that we were in, and I sort of looked out the corridor. And it was bustling and nurses were running back and forth. And I thought, wow, I just lost my mother. What are you people doing? Like, life doesn't stop.
Have some
And that's what I think
respect.
They expect you to be fine in a couple hours. Oh, it's over. Okay, now move on.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to feel the feelings. I think it's interesting what you're talking about. I think you need to let those feelings flow through. Feel them. Just because we detach from something.
When they happen. And even if you don't have them, then you can feel those feelings too.
And there's no should. It's just it.
Shouldn't all over yourself.
Yeah, no should, all over yourself.
I think I just wanted to make a point.
Yeah.
Years ago, I'm not sure how long after my brother died I started this, but I never end a phone call with anyone that is a friend or a relative without saying I love you. And I don't even care. Like, I have a brother, he's not comfortable with that, I don't care. It's
Right.
the last thing I say to my mother, my brother, like even my husband going out the door, girlfriends, friends I've made. I love, it's the last thing on a telephone call, I love you.
Yeah.
Because I always think then that's the last thing I said to them.
Right. Isn't
So
that
it's
wonderful?
just, that's something I do. And that, I mean, you know, which I think, okay, that's the last thing. Not an argument.
But that brings you a certain amount of peace.
Yeah, and it's because I know I said it to them. Because
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say, I never told them I loved them. And I thought, well, if that's the most important thing you could tell somebody else, then I'm going to make sure I've done it.
And the beautiful part about that, Nancy, because of the law of oneness, is that when you're saying it to someone else, you're saying it to you.
Oh, okay.
So you're feeling a little bit better about yourself now that you've started that practice. And in part because you don't have the worry about, was the last thing I'm going to say to that person be this, but in part because you said, I love you. Oh, I do. I love you. It's a beautiful exchange.
Yeah, and it does make me feel good because I know, you know, I said it. I lost my best friend 3 years ago. She got a terminal diagnosis. She said she had 3 months to live. And my husband and I booked a flight. I hadn't been on a plane in 29 years. So I got on the plane, and everything that happened along the way was the universe was helping me, because I got on the van picked us up to go to the airport. And on the way, I have this friend, and the person who was the other passenger looked like and sounded like a friend of mine. And he talked, and the way it made me really comfortable. When we got to the airport, this man walked by me and he said, oh, so did you find something? I thought, who the heck is he? Phil said, that's the guy from the van. I thought, no, it's not. He doesn't look like my friend. But for some reason, I swear, because the night before I was panic going, I can't go. And then I went, you're going, this is your best friend. And then when I went to get on the airplane, I went, this is a sardine can. I can't go in, I'm claustrophobic. And we had seats near the back. And I went, you're going? And Phil, my husband, touched me with a newspaper on the back. I almost screamed, get me off of here. And then I stood there and went, you're going. And I had to, you know, whiten up. And I sat on the plane and I looked out the window the whole time going, I'm in the clouds. I'm with the angels. I know, it's going to be fine. Oh, look, what are those lines on the ground? Oh, the road, you idiot. Like, I was just,
Right.
The whole thing was a very intense experience. I got there, and I didn't know when we arrived at the hospital, we went to the hospital, that my girlfriend, the doctors had just phoned her husband to come. She was dying. They didn't tell us that, but I went in and I held her hand, and she was on morphine. And she, out of, I don't know where, because she was really drugged, she said, hello. Like that, it just came out. That's the only thing. And then the doctors came in, and then her husband and son came down the hall. I went to hug them, and the husband said, that's enough. And then he went in, and I didn't know that she was supposed to die that day. Then the next day, Phil and I went to spend the whole day at the hospital with her. We were going to stay there till her husband and son showed up, or her sister, and nobody showed up till 4 o'clock. So I just sat there the whole day holding her hand. And the weird thing was, her mother died around the same age, at 60, and her mother, her mother liked hummingbirds, ironically, and I had given Judy, when she opened her scrapbooking store in Ajax, I gave her a hummingbird for the window to also kind of represent her mom.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she said, Mommy, it hurts. So I knew her mom was in the room at that point.
Right.
And it blew me away. And then anyway, the next day they took her home the next day. And then when we got there, she had passed on the Wednesday. And the weird thing was, I thought, I am going to fall apart. This is the best friend of my life. I had her for 12 years.
Yeah.
It was incredible how much we had in common, and I just loved her so much. And ironically, when we pulled up and her sister said, she passed in the night, Nancy, the old Nancy would have burst out sobbing and
Yeah.
sobbed for hours. I just was very peaceful. I thought she's out of pain. I know that I'll see her again. And so ironically after that, whenever I go into a store, I hear that new Adele song. I don't know if the words are right, but hello from the other side.
Yes.
And I'd be walking into the store thinking, oh, Judy and I came here to buy scrapbook stuff. And then all of a sudden I'd walk in and be hello from the other side. And that happened all the time, everywhere. And I went, I get it, you're okay. And it was so, I forgot that I had that experience with her because that was in 2015. And that was a mind-blowing experience. And I've got to remember to transfer that experience to what's coming down the pike.
It's beautiful.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. This line here, they exist, and no matter how much you resist them, there is nothing you're going to be able to do about them. Anybody having a comment on that?
Just makes me think of not wanting to waste energy focusing on things you can't change. So in
Yeah.
a sense, like losing a loved one, there's nothing you can do about fixing that. You can't bring them back.
Right.
So it's just to let go of that feeling of wanting to bring them back. Just,
It's interesting that's the example you said, because the sentence starts with they exist.
but that's what it makes me think of. It's
But I'm thinking less the feelings and more the people.
exactly.
They continue to exist. Hmm. Yeah. Change what you can change, but have the wisdom to accept unalterable situations as they are without wasting mental or physical energy attempting to change what you cannot change. Exactly what you were just saying. Can we apply this to debt?
Again, that louder, please.
Sure. Change what you can change, but have the wisdom to accept the unalterable situations as they are without wasting mental or physical energy attempting to change what you cannot change. And then I said, can we apply that to debt?
We went.
I think so. I find the more that less that I worry about that, the more I open up to abundance and prosperity to fill in my life. So
Absolutely.
But I have had times where I have my income stay the same, but it seems to go farther.
Right.
And I'd be able to pay off all of my loans and all my other things and still have money in my pocket to do other
Yeah.
things. And other times when I worry about the money and my income didn't change, it seems like I always ran out.
Right. It definitely applies to money in exactly that way. Because thoughts are things, right? And what you're thinking on, you're creating more of. So creating more debt. No, thank you. Not without a really nice bag. And then the next line says, out of acceptance comes involved detachment.
Oh, involved detachment. So you're involved, but you're detached in the situation, but you're still there. You're not off in la la land trying to avoid.
Right. Right. And then there's the difference between detachment and denial.
And a difference between detachment and avoidance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big difference.
oh. You want to explore that a little bit?
Go for it, Brett.
Take over, Madam President.
I don't even know where to go with that. But
Well, what is avoidance?
I think that's just putting up blinders and saying that's like being the ostrich, sticking your head in the sand. And this isn't happening. If I keep my head here, it'll go away.
I think it's the difference between like somebody fighting cancer or accepting it and working to change it, right?
I feel I'm in it right now. I have an uncle who I was very close to, loved to death when I was a child, because I didn't know the extent of his alcohol and drug abuse, and he was living with us, and we got very close. And he has days to live at this point, from liver failure and cancer and a multitude of issues. And my mother, of all people, who like they argue all the time. We almost lost our house when we were young because of my uncle's issues. So they were at war for years. My mother made peace, told him she loves him, to forget about the past, and she's gotten over it, but I haven't.
Right.
He doesn't even know I have a daughter. I've hidden her from him because he was always coming to me for money, and I had to distance myself and say, I don't even have the money I need to get from paycheck to paycheck. I can't keep helping you. That was years ago. I was like in my early 20s when he was coming to me. I'm like, I can't do this. So I cut myself off from him, and I ended up being at my parents' the other day, listening to my mom say all these things to him. And my dad asked if I wanted to talk to him, and I just broke down crying. I said, I can't. And I had a couple of days left to get this sorted in my head so I can be there for him, but also heal myself.
Right.
I don't know why I can't wrap my head around it. Like, this was his journey. He had these issues to get through. I understand that, but I just can't disconnect my issues from it, you know?
So I would encourage you to forgive.
I'm trying.
It's not a try. It's not a try. And it just starts by saying, I forgive you. And the you you're forgiving is you.
Yeah.
Let go of your guilt.
I
And
do feel really guilty. Like,
So you did what you had to do with all the information, the emotions, and everything you had at hand for you.
mhm.
You are on your journey as well as he is on his journey. So you have to let go of your guilt. You did nothing wrong.
Mhm.
You did everything right for you.
Mhm.
And it's you and you're concerned with in your life. So
and perhaps attached to the idea that all of this is rolling out exactly as it's supposed to.
Think in terms too, if you had stayed with him and continued to hand him money and you were just enabling him with his problems. So you prevented that.
Well, he did end up getting clean and married and all this. Like, there was a big change in my late 20s with him. And I don't know, I feel really guilty because he became a family man. And he has no idea about my daughter because I was very fearful
Right.
of that.
So you just got to love you where you're at. And I have a meditation on that site where I upload meditations for forgiveness. It's free. Just give it a listen.
Okay.
And love you.
Okay.
And maybe you can't actually talk to his person, but you could talk to him while holding your chakras. Say, I love you. Coraline would love you. Thanks for the impact you had on my life. I learned so much. Because that's true. You learned so much.
I did.
And he had a significant impact.
Okay. Thank you.
I love you.
and I also want to say that if you can't do everything you want to do in the next 2 or 3 days while he's still in his training, you can continue to work on this. After
Yes.
he's crossed over.
Because of the law of oneness.
He'll always hear you. It'll
Yes.
always be the right time.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
We are out of time for discussion. As always happens too quickly. Thank you for joining us online. And we'll connect with you again next week.